Hello, my name's Joanne Staphnill. Welcome to my podcast for TotallyLegal.com. I'm a senior solicitor at the boutique firm Simon LLP. At Simon, our business is protecting the professions, so we've defended legal professionals in claims arising out of every scenario you could think of. In this series of podcasts, I'll be sharing my top tips to help make moving to a new legal job as pain-free as possible. Okay, so you've dusted off your CV and you're on the hunt for bigger and better things. Well done you. At this stage, I'm guessing that the last thing on your mind is the possibility that the simple act of searching for a new job could end up with you facing a complaint or even a claim from a client. What could possibly go wrong? Well, here are a couple of examples of legal professionals who forgot how the duty to preserve client confidentiality impacts on what you can and can't do in your job search. A few years ago, I was helping out with a few job applications that had been made to the firm. The colleague I was with was halfway through reading a particularly good CV when she suddenly stopped and said, Well, that's interesting." Of course, we all gathered around to have a look, and we could not believe our eyes. In the section on recent experience, the applicant had mentioned advising on the prospects of an appeal, on a case we had just won at trial. Of course, we couldn't have known at that stage that our opponents were gearing up for an appeal, so this was information that was certainly of great interest and value to us. It seemed that, in an effort to make his CV look as impressive as possible, the applicant had forgotten a basic rule about his client's absolute right to confidentiality. Needless to say, we didn't call him for interview either. Of course, your formal CV is not the only way in which to promote your skills and get ahead of the pack when applying for jobs. Social media such as LinkedIn and Twitter can be really powerful tools too. But like all powerful tools, you need to use them properly to avoid getting hurt. There's lots of legal professionals out there with a real enthusiasm to develop their personal brand and sell themselves to prospective employers by writing about their experience. And that's great and should definitely not be discouraged. But it does go hand in hand with the temptation to publish material without seeking guidance from anyone. Of course, it might be difficult to ask for guidance from the risk management team at your current firm because you might not want them to know that you're looking for other opportunities. But you should definitely think about whether you might be disclosing information that a current or former client wouldn't be happy about. In some cases, even mentioning the client's name might be going too far. It is true that legal professionals have always had to tread a fine line between protecting client confidentiality and promoting themselves. But there's a world of difference between providing anonymised information to a potential new employer and publishing the whole story on the web for everyone to see. If you're not sure where to draw the line, don't forget that you can get free confidential advice from the SRA's Professional Ethics Helpline. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Keep an eye on the Totally Legal blog for more from me. You can also find me at robinsimonllp.com or on LinkedIn. I wish you all the best for a successful and risk-free job search. This brief summary should not be applied to any particular set of facts without seeking legal advice. The copyright and the content belongs to Simon LLP, which is registered in England and regulated by the Solicitors Regulation Authority. This podcast was recorded at Alaska Studios, London.